Hey everybody, Miss Dietrich here. We're talking about place value of whole numbers. We're going to go over what standard form is and what expanded form is, and we're going to use this example that I have on the screen. Now I do like this this chart because I like the way it's color coded and it helps you to understand the idea of what we call periods. So when you're reading a number, which is an important skill to have, you have to be able to read your grouping of three numbers. So when we read our grouping of three numbers here, if we look at this blue chunk, we would read this as 8,040,073,006. So now let's talk about how would we write that in expanded form. So with expanded form, you're going to take each of what I call the non-zero digits. So that would be the 8, the 4, the 7, the 3, and the 6. And we're going to express what each of them means in terms of their place value. All right, so let's start with the 8. Now when we think about this 8, 8 what? Well, it's 8 of the billions. So we would be multiplying that with, what a billion looks like. So what does a billion look like? It's a 1, and then we have to count how many places are after that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros that we'd have to follow up with. So I like to actually count as I'm writing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so if you lose your place, remember it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we were on number 7. This is going to be number 8, and this is going to be number 9. And then you insert your zeros where appropriate. All right, so I like to double check, right? Because we have the ones period, we have the thousands period, we have the millions period, and this is a billion. All right, now in 5th grade, you probably won't see too many cases where you're going to be going out to the billions, but it's good to know that it exists. Now, if we were going to add to that, the next non-zero value is a 4. So for what? We would write that as, I'm going to move my thing over here. In fact, I don't know if I'm going to have room because it's kind of small. We have 4 times, in this case, it's 10 million. So how would we write 10 million? Well, we would write a 1, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros after it. So I'm going to try to squeeze it in the best I can. I don't know if I'll fit it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then insert commas where appropriate. Well, I have to say I'm kind of impressed with myself for squeezing that in that spot. We're going to add to that plus, so let's take, we took care of this 8, we took care of this 4. The next non-zero digit is a 7. So 7 times 10,000, right? 10,000 times 10,000. So what would that look like? It would look like this. But let's say you didn't know it looked like that, and you were using that strategy of putting the 1 and counting after it. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. All right, so that takes care of that grouping. Plus, so now let's move on to the 3. So that's 3 what? 3 what? It's 3 thousands. So we'll write it 1,000. Now let's say we didn't know 1,000 looked like that and we needed to write it. That would be a 1 with 1, 2, 3 zeros. So we have the 1 with 1, 2, 3 zeros. All right, so that takes care of the 3. So the next number to take care of is the 6. So we don't have anything here. It's a 0 there, it's a 0 there. So we're going to move on to the 6. So that's 6 times, and in this case, it's just 1. All right, so let's review. The number that we have here in these boxes all together, that would represent the standard form. So I'm just going to put SF for the abbreviation. Standard form. This is standard form. And this is written out in expanded form right here. This is expanded form. Now, if they want it in words, let's talk about that because that's a good skill to have too. Let's review what you would write in words. You would put no numeric numbers down. In other words, you were not going to put any digits down. You would put all words. So again, the way you would say this is you would write 8 billion, 40 million, 73,006. And we usually don't say, ones after it like we do with the other periods. And that's how you, if that's how you would say, you would write it out in that manner. Now, I don't have enough room to write it out, but I just said it, so hopefully you would know how to spell what I just said in the event that you were asked to do that. All right, so we have, let's look at something like this. So they're giving you the standard form here of 582, 030. So if we were to kind of fill in, I like to work backwards on these charts when I fill it in. So the last digit there is a 0, then the 3, then they give you the 0, and then they give you this 2, then they give you the 8, and then they give you the 5. All right, so there's the number written again in standard form. Now, when they want it in word form, we would read this as 582,000, right? So 582,000. We're just, writing this word here, 1,000. And I'm writing a little bit too big. Comma, and then how would you say this grouping? Well, we would say 30. So 582,000 and then 30. You write it out like this, word form. It's a little bit difficult to write with a mouse. All right, for expanded form, so we have 5 of the 100,000s, right? So they have that written here. We have 8 of the 10,000s, so that's, I'm going to try to squeeze it in the best I can because its space is not very big. By the way, that's a comma. We have 2 of the thousands, so they give you that. We don't have any hundreds, so we don't need to put anything there. So the next non-zero digit would be a 3. So we have 3 of the 10s, 3 of the 10s, so we would write it out like that. All right, so just to review, you need to know the difference between the standard form, that's just regular numeric numbers, word form, where you write it out and you're not using any digits, you're using all letters of the alphabets and hyphens and commas. When you're writing it out in expanded form, you're thinking about each non-zero digit and what place it holds, and showing that you're multiplying by whatever that place that holds, and you're separating each of those numbers with addition signs. All right, so I think we're in pretty good shape. If you missed the instruction, you should be in pretty good shape to do a lot of these things that you're going to be asked to do on your homework. If you do need more help, make sure you ask in class, but that should be pretty adequate to get you kind of rolling.